Hi, Lex.
Welcome to Shadowbox Secrets.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Ready to make a Les Mis with Shadowbox?
I absolutely am.
All right, let's go for it. You are currently playing one of the most beloved roles in the whole wide world on the national tour right now of Les Mis. Tell me about how this role came into your life and how you ended up on the national tour of Les Mis.
I freshly graduated from Baldwin Wallace last May, so 2025. And then 5 days after graduation, I moved to New York. And
Had you ever lived in New York before?
No, I
Okay.
visited many times because
Okay.
my mom loves it here. My parents love theater, so like they took me a couple times growing up, and I always knew I wanted to live in the city. And I really only lived in the city for 3 months because then about 3 months in, I got this audition for Les Mis, and my manager, who's like literally amazing, she was like, you are this part, like, you know, and I always loved Éponine, I'd always loved Les Mis.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of the shows that my dad like introduced me to when I was very young, and we'd always play it in the car on the way to my grandma's, and you know, it held such a sentimental value, and I knew it so well.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, I think this might be the thing,
Right.
you know? And luckily it was. So about 3 months into me living in New York, I had gotten this job, and then all of a sudden it was like, pack your bags, you're going on tour for 9 months.
That's incredible.
I joined the tour in Tucson, Arizona, and we rehearsed there. And what was so funny is that it was on like the U of A campus, I think, I'm pretty sure. We learned the show in 3 days because they explained to us going in was that our parts, the trio, are very much like plug and play. Like
Yeah.
we all have like our number, and then like because also with Les Mis being kind of a more like well-established show, the tracking is set. Like you know where you're going. That's like that was one of the enjoyable and like stress relieving parts was that like okay, it's a well-oiled machine. If you just go where you're supposed to go, you're not gonna get bulldozed.
And like you said, you came in with a wealth of knowledge of that show already.
Leia Salonga is like my ultimate idol.
Gorgeous.
And I would literally die if she came to see the show. Wink, wink.
Hey,
And,
girl.
hey, girl. If I met her, I'd be so happy. I could pass freely. I remember seeing a production of it at one of my regional theaters, La Mirada. I'm from Southern California, and so La Mirada did it like, I don't know, this must have been like at least 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom was so pissed because the people sitting next to us were singing along.
No.
And I was like, ugh, like,
Do you get that a lot?
no, this reminds me, there was one time we were doing the finale. It's a very somber finale. Like, can I spoil the show? It's been out for 4 years.
It's yeah, go for it.
Like-
It's history.
Right. So like Jean Valjean, like he's an old man in the end and he ends up passing, right? And then all of us as an ensemble come out and we sing like the reprise of Do You Hear the People Sing? And there was, I remember in one city, I can't remember, there was like this woman in the front row who was like clapping along to the beat, like as if it was like a jolly saunter. And I remember we all died laughing because we were like, arguably one of the most somber endings in musical theater history,
Correct.
and this woman's like living her best life, like it's so funny. We've definitely had a bit of that, and
God.
I don't know if I've heard people singing though. I feel like if it is gonna happen, it's gonna happen during like One Day More,
Oh, absolutely.
right? Because I mean, if you know One Day More, you know all the parts.
That is
And
very true.
it's irresistible to sing along, honestly.
Being on tour for about 9 months now, I'm sure you have learned a lot of life lessons and how to live out of a bag. What would you say your like top 3 tips for someone going on tour would be?
Top 3 tips. Dish soap is incredibly handy. It's your stain remover. There's a lot of thrifty things you can do when you're in a bind. Pack light because also you're going to a lot of probably really great places. You want to shop. Best to keep both those bags under like 40 pounds if you can when you first start out. But I'd also say kind of be prepared for anything. The airports are kind of a mess these days. Have the things that you need in your carry-on. Always have an extra pair of clothes because
Smart.
there have been days like we don't get our bags till like 2 days after. It's best to be prepared. It's best to just, you know, have the things that you really need on your person at all times.
Wow.
And be prepared for literally anything. But I'd say as for like actual like life lessons, something I really struggled with on tour was feeling like my real life was put on hold. I had just come from college and that already felt like not really real
yeah.
life as well. And so then to go from that into a 9-month-long contract, which is basically another school year from like September to May.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was like, while all my friends started moving here and having lives here, the FOMO was real. I really struggled with feeling like I was still living my life in an authentic way and not kind of living in this haze of tour, because it can very much feel like that very quickly. And then I think something that I'm like still actively learning all the time, even probably after tour, is that like the time will pass anyway. So you've got to live your life to the fullest and try and incorporate as much from your stable and more stationary life in New York or LA or wherever, you know, I'm at the moment, into your day to day. It's very easy to get lost in the sort of transitional period of what it feels like, but the life around you happens regardless. So gotta live that life.
That's great advice. Do you have a favorite place or a place that you went to that surprised you that you loved so much?
Oh, Richmond, Virginia is kind of cute. We were staying in this like really cute Main Street area, and they had great coffee, and I remember it was just starting to snow, and so all the trees were like slightly snow-capped, and it was just like straight out of like a Hallmark card. About an hour away from Calgary, which was one of our stops, Banff is there. A lot of us like across like 3 Airbnbs stayed there for like 2 nights. We have adventures when we can. It's really lovely.
That's awesome.
I really want to go back because we went in the winter, and I want to go in the summer when you can see the lake so clearly, and you know, it's so beautiful.
So as we are rolling roses, I have to ask what your rose, bud, and thorn of being in Les Mis are.
Of course.
Your rose being your highlight, but something you're looking forward to, and the thorn is challenging.
I'd say my rose, obviously singing this show every night. It's probably one of the most epic scores ever written.
Truly.
And knowing that it's a fan favorite almost fuels it in a way, and knowing that it's like a score that my parents love. It's got the sentimental value, but also it really holds on its own.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. And like anytime that I'm feeling down, because I'm in the ensemble before I become Éponine, right? Spoiler. Spot me if you can. Sometimes I'll go down at the very top of the show, and even just hearing the first bum bum, like it's
I have the chills.
it just like hits you. Oh, I'm like hitting the mic. It just like hits you in your heart. It's hard not to get swept up in it. It's epic. It's incredible. That's definitely my rose. My bud, I think like what I'm looking forward to, this isn't really tour specific, but like honestly for the next show, and like there's something so special about falling in love with the show, and like that feeling when you finally feel like used to it, and it's like in your bones, and you're like, wow, like I'm so settled in and locked in every night, and it's now become like second nature to me. I love process, and so I'm like excited to see what the next one holds, and I think this show made me really appreciate, because this is the longest run of anything I've ever done, because I was in college before this, and, you know, and you only run for like 2 weekends or you know, a month at most.
Right, and most regional shows, again, a month at most, it feels like.
Yeah, so I definitely would say like Bud is looking forward to the processes of the next shows and how they differ. And then Thorn, again, the thing about like feeling like you're missing out on things going on with your friends and your family, that can be really hard on tour. Feeling like you're kind of, you know, a bad friend because your communication just can't be as active as it was, or, you know, and it's like, you really have to like train yourself, I think. Especially if that doesn't really come naturally to you, like it doesn't with me. You have to like really train yourself to be like, okay, like you gotta like keep it up. You gotta reach out to your folks. Wait, I did it.
You did it. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yay! Amazing.
So itty bitty.
I always love hearing just like, again, about tour life and everything, but something that you have also been doing while you were on tour is releasing original music.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you became a songwriter and how all of this fell into your life.
I remember when I was in elementary school, my mom gave me this Hello Kitty notebook. I can picture it in my head. It had like a red spine. And I remember I wrote really horrible songs with like very obvious metaphors in middle and like elementary and middle school. Because like what else was I supposed to do? When I started writing more regularly in middle school, all I listened to was show tunes, and so that very much had an influence on my writing, because like I was like, I'm gonna write a musical, and I really thought I was going to. Who knows?
Hey, you might.
Right, it's definitely on the noggin. I would say me writing pop music didn't start until like late high school, early college. And even then, I don't know if I write like pop, you know what I mean? It's like, what is anything with these days? You know what I mean? Like, does anything a genre at all. I was a junior in high school when the pandemic hit, and going into my senior year, that was really rough. And I started just using GarageBand like every single day, and just like laying down some like really like shit demos of songs. But you know, it was something. And then I started using Logic, which is kind of like GarageBand Plus, like for like Apple users. In college, I was starting to write a lot more because, you know, you're growing up, you're experiencing all these new things, all these new people, and so it was very easy to write. So I just started hacking at it every day, and I produce everything I've ever
Good
done.
for you.
Yeah,
That's
and so,
incredible. Do you play instruments as well?
I do. I play piano and guitar, and I really love having strings in my music, so I'm gonna try and see if I can pick up some like basic violin and like
That's incredible.
like, yeah, it's so doable. Anyone that's thinking about doing anything ever, just do it. Just do it, because there are ways to learn. With YouTube Academy these days,
Oh my
there
gosh.
are ways to learn. On tour, I still was producing because honestly, it's like my like decompression outlet, low-key. I do it when I have free time and it's fun for me. My latest song, for example, Guilty Pleasure,
Love
like
it.
I
So
wrote that on tour, produced it on tour, and released it on tour.
Did you go to like a recording studio?
No. I do it all on my laptop, and I didn't in a hotel room. Yeah.
You really can do anything anywhere nowadays. It's incredible.
Yeah, and
you
it really
sound
can.
so good.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
Thank you. It's definitely very much a DIY project right now, and that's why I'm excited to like move back to the city and set up even just like the smallest smidgen of a home studio, because you know, I've only been producing on my laptop for, it seems like, you know, 4 or 5 years. There's this Top Gun quote that's like, it's not the plane, it's the pilot, or something like that. And I've always like taken that philosophy when it comes to producing. Sometimes I'll beat myself up about it, and I'm like, well, if I had like better equipment, or if I had like, you know, a fancier DAW or whatever, I sometimes get into that mindset, and I'm like, no, it's what you make what you have, not what you have necessarily. You can finagle anything.
Truly.
Really. Yeah. So that's kind of how my songwriting came to be. It's so far gotten a good response, I think, from people.
I mean, you are so talented, truly,
Yeah.
like multi-talented and everything. Your most recent song you released is Guilty Pleasure.
Yes.
What is your Guilty Pleasure musical?
Guilty pleasure musical, Mamma Mia. I'm always down to see the
Yeah.
production of Mamma Mia. I love the soundtrack. I mean, obviously it's ABBA, but
Duh, it's so good.
it's great. I'm always down to see a production.
I love. How many songs have you now released?
I want to say maybe close to 20 now, because my first album was 13. After that, it was New Haircut. After that, it was Guilty Pleasure, because that was the first song I'd released in like over a year.
You were a little busy, so
Just a little. I'm just a little bit busy, and especially because, you know, I do it all myself. I think I'm like, I will release it as I go, and
Yeah.
also like when inspiration strikes, it strikes.
You've also had a very exciting regional career as well.
Oh goodness.
You've played so many different roles. Is there one that has taught you the most, or what is something that you carry with you?
I mean, Jenna really teaches you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard not to learn a lot from Jenna. Playing Jenna at 21 years old
Jeez.
is definitely
An experience.
An experience, and I will say, like, probably a lot of the relatability isn't necessarily there yet. But and so I'm excited because I'm like, I would love to play that role, like 5 to 10 years from now, and see like how differently I view it. Because also, like, what I'm really grateful for is that, weirdly enough, like all the regional shows I've done came into my life at a very strange time in my life where I could relate to those shows. Waitress came into my life, and I love my mother so much. She's my favorite person on the planet. And so like doing a show about motherhood and the connection that someone has with their child, and also the decision making behind that, like I was crying
I can't even imagine.
And even like a show like Into the Woods, which I did my like just before my senior year of college and into my senior year of college. Into the Woods is kind of like Les Mis in that sense, where there's something in it for everyone. Playing Little Red as a 21-year-old, it was never a role that I thought I would play. I was a brassy broad in high school, and I always considered myself like, I'm gonna play the witch one day. It was funny because in a show like that, more so the challenge was aging back my own maturity and viewing it from a genuine like 13-year-old's lens. And that's also something similar with Les Mis, is that, you know, Éponine is younger than I am. Like, she's, I think, 16 or 17.
Something like that,
Yeah, at least in the novel. And even in the show, like, our directors have talked, and they want her to like almost read more as like 15, 14, you know? And so having that mentality and viewing love in that way of like actual lovesick teenager, and just trying to like dial back to my like high school years and being like, oh wait, this is how I viewed unrequited love back then. That's been honestly a really fun, challenging part.
That's really cool.
Of those shows.
Tying the two together, what has like songwriting taught you about acting, and like vice versa? How has acting helped fuel your songwriting?
I think acting and songwriting have a lot more to do with each other than you think. Hence, musical theater
Correct.
exists. In my own experience, the basis of both those things for me are people and how they relate to each other and their experiences. When I was younger, I used to want to be an actor because of all the different people I could play. And then when I got older, I appreciated acting because of how similar people actually are, despite coming from different backgrounds. And that all of us on some level are capable of experiencing the same emotion and, you know, and reacting to things a certain way. And so that was the joy of wanting to be an actor as an adult. And then with songwriting, I also was very terrified because it was like, oh shit, like people are reading my diary, basically. I was like, is this too personal? Is it even relatable? Like, you know, am I crazy for thinking any of these things? And one of the really like incredible things that I found was that when I released my music and started advertising it and people started connecting with it, it very quickly became not about me. They started tying it to their own relationships and, you know, songs that I'd written about like romantic relationships, for example, people would say, this song applies exactly to like me and my mother's relationship or me and my father's relationship, or like people message me and say like, your album got me through my divorce. And like when I hear things like that, I'm like, oh wow, we are actually, it's a more collective experience than you think. And it's bigger than any one individual person. That took away my fear of releasing music because I was like, well, the second it's out there, it's not about me. Because think about it, like when you listen to music, like you're not thinking about, oh, well, this happened to that person who wrote it.
Right.
You're thinking about your own problems and issues and relationships and, you know, so it took away the fear factor of it for me. Yeah.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fear factor,
we're ready to reveal.
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's perfect. Oh, it is so perfect. It's gorgeous.
We love.
I can't wait to put it in my apartment. I'm so excited. It's gonna be. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Yay.
Love it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yes, the decal says another story must begin. I like took a screenshot of the actual score and how it's written in the score, like the score annotations above it, because I thought that was gonna be my first tattoo. Didn't end up being my first tattoo. But yeah, it was my first tattoo is like my father's handwriting. It's something else. I remember thinking like, because people often ask, oh, what's your favorite line from the show? And it's honestly this, which is like the end of Valjean's like prologue into At the End of the Day. And what I love about this line and this moment of the show so much is that it is sung over probably the most tension-ridden music in the whole show. It's like really dissonant and just it's prolonged and it stretches and it's almost like exaggerating the fact that there is going to be a struggle before the inevitable release into something beautiful, and that's when you hear the da-da-da-da for the first time, and they call it the magic notes. If you're ever in Les Mis, they say that's what they call it. They call it the magic notes. It just always reminds me that, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but also that like something's about to begin. Different show. But realizing that no matter what you're going through, there's always light to be found and hope, and that you can always make something different of your life if you're unhappy, which is something that I am personally somebody who needs a constant reminder of that. So I'm glad I have this constant reminder.
Something you can
be
look
on
at
my wall all the time. Yeah.
Well, sadly we are wrapping our time, but I have to ask you our standard final 3 Shadowbox Secrets questions. The first one is, if this was in a gallery, what would its title be? Like the card underneath it.
The flowers grow. I mean, it's on the nose and kind of literal, but I mean, it's perfect.
Rain will make the flowers grow.
Exactly. Rain will make the flowers grow.
Secondly, if a castmate had to surprise you with a Shadowbox, who would it be from, and what do you think they would put on it?
I think Victoria Houston-Ellum, who plays our Madame Thenardier, or Nick Cartel, who plays our Jean Valjean, would gift me with the Shadowbox. And Tori would do something probably to do with bread, because we both love bread. And Nick would either go really classic and do like the classic Cosette decal with the illustration, or we host these like Saturday Night on Tour live streams. So you're familiar?
Yeah, because I know snot, but I'm like, that's even worse.
Yes, snot. I feel like he would gift me a Shadowbox that just said like snot, and then like Saturday Night on Tour, like the smallest parentheses ever.
I love it.
Yeah,
amazing. And lastly, you kind of alluded to this already, but once your time with tour has wrapped up, what do you want this box to remind you of when you look back at it?
Even looking back at like pictures and videos from like the top of tour, I'm reminded of like, oh my gosh, I was like a baby back then, even though it was like 8 months ago. And I think looking at this, I just want to be reminded that life will bring you the strangest of opportunities at the strangest of times. And so be on the lookout, but also like be ready to receive and like be ready to act on it and take those opportunities by the reins.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
crafting
you,
with me today.
Lex.
This was so special.
So special.
Yay.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect.
I love it.
Yay.
Yay.